So today we need to talk about SNAP benefits because right now more than 42 million people here in the United States are relying on SNAP for food assistance. Now this could be a very bad thing moving forward, and I want to explain why, but you need to understand that the federal government is using taxpayer dollars to fund all benefits, but the federal and state share is split as far as funding the administrative costs. Now, I want to break all this down and explain what is going on, what Republicans are now looking at doing, which could be bad for many people. But again, I'm going to break all this down, explain what is happening, and why they're pushing forward with this at this time. So again, I'll break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So by now, it should be no secret that the Trump administration is looking at ways to save money. Now, they're going to try to save money by, cutting costs for the Department of Education. They're going to eliminate the majority of the USAID. We saw changes to so many different programs, and this is just in the first 30 days of the Trump administration. Over the next, 3 years and 11 months, we are going to see so many more changes. But here's the key. How do we become better? Not just financially. Can we become better as far as our health? As far as our education? Yes. This is why. Okay, look at this right here. It says 2025 budget stakes. Millions could lose needed food assistance. What you need to understand is that SNAP benefits that go out to more than 42 million Americans, or 42 million people, also includes American citizens and illegal immigrants. The Trump administration is saying that we are going to eliminate the pretty much all legal immigrants from receiving SNAP benefits. That this is a benefit for the American people, not for people that have come into the United States without proper consent and approval. Listen to this. SNAP benefits go out to more than 42 million people here in the United States. More than 12% of the U.S. population receives food assistance. The average monthly benefit is a little bit over $200. It's actually at $210, which means the federal government spends about $115 billion per year. And this is all from taxpayer dollars. Okay? Let that sink in. Because what we've seen over the past several days is that the Trump administration, along with the Department of Government Efficiency, are finding ways to cut costs, to reduce the federal workforce, to eliminate unnecessary spending, such as keeping and maintaining a federal building or multiple federal buildings that nobody's even in. But here's what they're looking at, because just the other day we learned that Republicans want to see about $880 billion in cuts to Medicaid, and I believe this is over 10 years. One of the things that they're trying to do is trying to figure out how can the federal government continue to pay for things like weight loss drugs. How can we pay for that when they're so expensive? They're like $1,000 a month. Okay, so you're going to be looking at $12,000 a year in just these costs for weight loss. Obesity and weight loss is weight is a huge issue here in the United States. But here's the reason why I'm telling you this. What we are facing is a bigger question. Okay, we can solve this issue and we can cut costs to Medicaid, but what's the underlying problem? The underlying problem is the food that many Americans receive. So if you're on food stamps, one of the issues is some of the food that you're able to purchase isn't the healthiest food. Look at this right here. It says the Trump administration is reportedly interested in banning junk food for millions of SNAP users. But people are explaining why it's extremely problematic. Here's what I can tell you. There are certain areas of this country where there's very limited healthy options. Look at this. It says food deserts complicate RFK Jr.'s call for healthier food stamp purchases. I want to read a little bit of this article to you. It says right here, Kennedy has called for the government to stop allowing the nearly $113 billion program that serves about 42 million Americans to use benefits to pay for soda and processed foods. However, in places classified as food deserts, an urban area which is difficult to buy affordable or good quality fresh food, like much of North Charleston, simply purchasing fresh produce isn't as easy as walking into a grocery store. Here in Washington State, we don't really have a lot of that, especially in the Seattle area. Like there's grocery stores at almost every single corner. Now, if they're affordable, that's the big question. Let me read a little bit more of this to you. These fresh produce stuff, they cost more money. It says, so if I'm only getting $200 on food stamps, a carton of eggs is $10. I could spend $20 on a loaf of bread, carton of eggs, and a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk. Okay. It's 2 loaves of bread, carton of eggs, and a gallon of milk. Yeah. You can spend about $20. I went to the store just the other day. Egg prices, yeah, they're still up $10 for a dozen. Down in Las Vegas, where I was this past weekend, it was still same thing. Okay, so it is well over $10 for a dozen eggs. So yeah, it's expensive. But here's the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention. We could see the Trump administration ban the purchase of unhealthy food, junk food, right? Sodas, processed goods. They could ban those. But for many people, that's all they can get because they're buying things in, gas stations, right? Not just grocery stores. They're overpaying for things in a gas station. But that also brings up the question, what could the Trump administration do to actually save money? Could they force certain stores to sell products at a certain price? Yeah. Think about what the Trump administration is trying to do with Medicaid, for instance. They are negotiating drug costs with the manufacturers directly. Couldn't they do the same thing with food? Now, I know we do this, a little bit with, meats and produce and, vegetables and fruits and all that stuff, right? We do that. But couldn't we do a better job with like packaged goods, like chips, like crackers, bread? Couldn't we do that? And that's where some say yes. But it's going to cause the United States government to spend more money to put that team together to better prepare us for the future. But again, keep in mind, what the Trump administration is trying to do is solve the underlying problem, which is diet. And that would fix the issue, which is people that are obese, massively overweight, and struggling with health issues. So, we're going to see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you right now is yes, there is potentially about $230 billion on the table that SNAP is potentially going to cut. That's going to be, I believe, for 10 years. But here's the reason why it's so important. Because what the Department of Government Efficiency is currently doing is trying to find the underlying problems to save money. Not go after a massive benefit program that is currently keeping people fed, children fed. 42 million people every single month are fed because of SNAP benefits. So, we're going to see what happens moving forward. All we know right now is that, yes, some Republicans want to see a massive change to the way SNAP is run, but others say that no, We don't need a massive change, but we need to fix these little issues. So, as we get more information on this, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates. That is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.